Catus, Maximus here. The rest of this video after this intro is going to be kind of a mismatch of the editing of my previous video, because I kind of like, this was a promotional product. I had that Nightmare with the True Value $35 a strand Christmas lights, so these were 30 bucks a piece, and they had actually, this company had sent me an email to try out products. So this was a promo product. They sent me a couple strands, and I don't even need to set up both of them. The worst part about these generally work as advertised, and you'll see in some of the rest of the video, but the big frustration with this is an internet connection is absolutely required to use the phone app. Even though this has a supposed Wi-Fi access point mode, you still cannot directly connect to it to the app like you could with, say, a lot of the Chinese security cameras even. But these lights, no, you have to have an internet connection to use anything other than the infrared remote that it comes with, which doesn't work very well. The worst part about this, I mean, this is an old phone, no SIM card, and I'm not currently accessing the internet. And the worst part is, you can't read the privacy prop. You just see like a little refresh circle. You can't even read the privacy policy or the user agreement without an internet connection, which is just totally insane. And even if you click agree and then try to do this try now and then continue type of thing, it will sit here for a second and then unable to use the current network. So that's even if you are connected to the AP, the Wi-Fi hotspot that's built into the controller, it still gives you this error because it still for some reason needs like access to the internet or some account. I realize this company makes a bunch of smart home products, but you should be able to control the product with the app without having an internet connection. There just is no excuse for not being able to use your piece of equipment without the internet when you aren't doing the Alexia integration. If I just want to control the lights with the app, I ought to be able to. And I had darn well ought to be able to read the privacy policy and the user agreement without an internet connection, because I don't know what kind of information they're sending. I'm more of a private person. That's why I don't show my face on YouTube. Kind of private person. I really like to share about the discoveries and the stuff that I review. But part of the reason I created this channel is more about all these frustrating products. Those True Value Christmas lights were a nightmare, and now these are a nightmare. Even though these were a free promotional product, they were something I would have returned if I had discovered that I could not use an old cell phone that does not have internet to control some darn LED lights. Anyway, if you want to, so I do not recommend this Teckin brand SL08 RGB lights, and they actually don't have that many modes. After I was going through it, there's probably about 20 or 30 built-in modes that at least you can only access through the remote. So anyway, I'll be doing another video about these a different set of these strip lights, which I do like. These, I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. Probably give them to a friend who doesn't mind having, to use a phone with an internet connection to use them, or maybe donate them. Catus Maximus here, this time with a little review video of these Teckin SL08. These are digital strip lights or string lights. After my fiasco with True Value and getting ripped off on their digital lights, went through my emails and actually had an offer from these guys, so I said, why not? I'll get some free ones after trying to pay a local business and support them and have them just have completely junky products. These are actually pretty advanced. They're supposed to be Alexa compatible, Wi-Fi hotspot, as well as being directly controllable with the remote. I do not have an Alexa. Now, the other point to this video is I've had some other string lights or some other digital quote-unquote dream color where, let me pull this out. It means that each one of these have sections, I believe, of 3 lights, and then what they have is they have these microchips in them, and so they're all addressable, so you can have rainbows chasing around down through these. And this is actually not a bad set because it's pretty complete. It is a stick-on type silicone overmolded style, but it does have these special little clips that you can use instead of just directly adhering it. It does come with a power supply, and the bigger deal is it comes with more of a decent controller. I actually did a video a long time ago about a brand called Joylet, and all the controllers that I got with those lights ended up burning out. They're also 5 volt, which is apparently an issue. This is actually a 12 volt. As we can see, these are using 3M adhesive, so I'm actually kind of surprised about that. And surprisingly enough, it was only 29 bucks. They only want $29 for these, which is pretty reasonable, although they are pretty sporadic. There's about 2-inch spacing, so there's not a ton of lights. Some of these you can get really tight, like an inch apart or something like that. So these are fairly sporadic, but they're still okay. Once again, each element is RGB. We do have a power brick here. And 12 volts, 1.5 amps, so an 18-watt power brick. And as I said before, I kind of was attracted to these because not only can they work with Alexa and voice control, I'm not going to once again be able to test that, but more traditional controls, such as just a normal remote. And we're going to see if I can get it working with the wireless app. They do have this Smart Life wireless app, and I've been fiddling around with some security cameras and a lot of stuff, and a lot of these products I'll have pretty restrictive apps, but this one, like requiring you to sign up to use them, but this one actually has a try it now, which is a bypass, so you don't actually have to use it or have an account. So we're going to see how that all works out. So one thing I was going to show is that I've been having, the remote isn't super responsive, it actually has these odd delays. Like I'm going to adjust the brightness, and it kind of registers sometimes and doesn't register. You can't just press it once. I have to just press it twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5. I just pressed the button 5 times to get it to increase the brightness just once. So that's a bit, that's a bit annoying. Really not super happy about that. One thing after figuring it out, once again being unfortunately a Chinese product, it does not have a very good manual. I still have not been able to get any of the Wi-Fi to work, but we'll try one more time. Is on this remote box here, you do have like a kind of like a single brightness mode adjust button. You do have a power button, and you have the microphone. It has a built-in microphone, so if you press and hold this for a second, that's actually what seems to work the best. If I turn it off, now you can see that for how poorly the remote works, that the microphone is actually like really responsive. So this is the mode that will cause it to do various different types of animations as you're playing your music or anything. Actually, as you can see, just sitting here talking, it's already going pretty active. So I'm really surprised that the remote is so poor when obviously the actual performance of the little CPU and controller can be very fast, because it's responding surprisingly well. This is actually one of the better music responses I've seen out of one of these strip lights here. Well, I was trying to get it to work through the phone app, but it tells me that it actually needs access to the internet to even attempt to use the app, which is really pretty unfortunate. Something else I'm also noticing is if I just do the sign up here, it has this grayed out get verification code, so it really needs like verify who you are, which is something I don't like. I'm gonna recommend against. I think it's just unfortunate that they have an app and advertise all this ability, but it has to you have to create an account. It wants to verify that account and requires internet access, even though it has this try now, where you would think you would be able to just use the app, or you could do something where you go into your Wi-Fi network here, and this would just display as a basic hotspot, and you could use the app to control these. Apparently, that's not the case. So I set up a router that does not have any actual internet access, but allows me to connect to a router that's open, and it just tells me I'm unable to use the current network. So I'm kind of, as I don't show my face on YouTube, I'm kind of more privacy oriented. Some people may not have a problem with that, but I'm going to have to give it a thumbs down for the fact that you actually cannot use the app without internet access, even though it has a try now function. But I'm going to give it, and those are legitimate, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this AP mode where you you have to do this crazy plug it in and out a million times thing. All right, we'll see. I gave him some criticism for that, but after going in and out a bunch of times, now actually there is a Smart Life Wi-Fi hotspot that it found. Nope, totally dissed. So even though I am now connected to the Wi-Fi hotspot that's built into these lights, it still will not allow me to use the app. That's severely disappointing. So I'm going to evaluate these without any of the Wi-Fi or app control, because it's actually just complete baloney that you have to have internet access. Even if you enable the AP mode, the access point mode, and directly connect to the light controller itself, that the app still will not allow you to configure it without internet access. That's not something I like. It's not something I'm going to recommend to people. So I'll just continue to evaluate them as more of just a standalone remote control intelligent light strip with the microphone. Let me at least get these hung somewhere. So this was probably as disappointing as it is to my normal subscribers, but I just won't do, when you have advanced devices like this, which have Wi-Fi capability, and you require internet access, I don't know what kind of information they're sending, and it has no bearing on being able to use a light strip to have internet access. So, kind of sucks. These probably have a cool app. I've seen a couple YouTube videos of it. It does look pretty cool, but I have an old phone with no SIM card, and the internet access I have is special. You have to go through a web page and stuff to authorize it, because it's a shared connection. And so I just can't test that functionality. It's just baloney. Even for as cool as it is. And this is what digital lights kind of do. Is they're all just, each chip runs 3 elements, and so it can just do all these different crazy modes. And that's what makes them cool. You put these up as Christmas lights. They're not like that True Value stuff. They're not like anything else. You can get animations that are just way beyond, anything else you can do. These seem to have a decent controller in quite a few different modes here. Every time you change the mode, even if I slow it down, when you change the mode, it automatically goes up to high speed, so that's a little bit annoying. And, some strips like these will have 100 modes or more. They'll have absolutely just a ton of them. And they're really pretty cool. It's just, unless you really want to deal with the whole, them sending information, usage information, I'm sure, and probably, if you integrate with Alexa's account information, Amazon knows what color you're changing your lights and that type of stuff. I do not know if they actually send that information, but it's super likely. Anyway, I'm going to change this back over to the microphone mode because I actually thought that was kind of neat. Let's see here. There's our microphone mode. Oh, I see. It's really random. Sometimes it acts as volume bars, and sometimes it just adds a little bit of extra animation to it. So it's actually kind of going longer the louder you talk, or more like, volume level bars, and then it kind of drops back down. That's actually kind of interesting. And then the colors seem to be random, and when you're playing music, it seems to probably get a lot more active. Probably, let me see if I talk real loud right into the microphone itself. Let's see about this. Yeah, so, if you're listening to music, then it's going to get a lot more colorful. But once again, I'm surprised at how responsive it is. It is a decent little processor in this set. So this company only had one product I was interested in when they sent me the email, and it was these. So I knew it was kind of a burner, quote unquote, not sponsorship, but free product thing. And I I'm glad it's that case, because I'm really disappointed about the app needing internet access to even be usable at all. Even when this thing has a supposed AP hotspot, that's actually, you know, it's partially false, because what they're doing is they're not making it plainly obvious that even that this does have a wireless hotspot, that you still need internet to even use it, which doesn't make any sense at all. So I would recommend against these. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.